Coming up on Expressions, we'll meet Tony Cicoria, whose life took some unusual and dramatic turns. After he narrowly escaped death by lightning.
After the lightning, I really questioned why I was here. I started to have this incredible desire to hear piano music. And I thought, oh, this is kind of weird.
On one man's musical and soul-searching journey, what resolution has he found? And what messages does he have to share? Welcome to Expressions. I'm Jen Mattoni. A man named Tom Hudson once said, "Creative activity is more than a mere cultural frill. It is a crucial factor of human experience, the means of self-revelation, the basis of empathy with others. It inspires both individualism and responsibility, the giving and the sharing of experience." Tonight we're sharing an Oneonta man's experience. Tony Cicoria took up a new creative activity in his 40s under some rather strange circumstances. We hope you enjoy his intriguing account, his inspirational activities, and a message that's relevant at any age.
I like motorcycles from when I was a young man. The custom painters wanted to know what I wanted, and I said, well, I want something really outrageous. I want a black leopard paint job.
Fine, black leopard. But a skeleton? A corpse bride? And a lamb?
Over the top of that, I want layered these things that my children have given me as a constant reminder of them. I have my 3 children represented well on a chopper that you would expect to see some outlaw biker with.
Tony Cicoria is definitely not an outlaw biker. Actually, it's Dr. Tony Cicoria.
Hi, Melissa. Dr. Cicoria.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. Tell me what's going on with your shoulder.
The orthopedic surgeon has gotten his share of inquisitive and judgmental looks in his nearly 20 years of practicing.
They're a little taken back. They're not quite sure what to think. I've even had times where I've walked into the emergency room to see someone, and I've still got all my motorcycle riding stuff on, and I walk in, and I had one poor old lady who got absolutely terrified that some outlaw biker was in to do harm to her in the emergency room. So I don't quite fit the mold of a traditional way you would expect a physician to look. Just relax your shoulder.
Cicoria is full of surprises, and after just a few minutes with him, any prejudgments about bikers, or even doctors, begin to fall away.
And every day is a new adventure, and I enjoy going to work and doing what I do. The one thing my father always said to me when I was little is, you don't want to be my age and look back on your life and say, I wish I had done this or I wish I'd done that. One of the few things that I took to heart that he did tell me.
Despite a very demanding schedule as a surgeon in Norwich, medicine is not his only calling.
Back here.
On the back side.
Yes, right there. Mm-hmm.
I extract as much out of every single thing that I do, and I try to make the most of it.
This goes beyond doing the things he loves. It's become a way of life.
Hurt on the back side or more to the front?
It's not painful.
I take life very seriously. I try to live every minute like it's going to be my last. Does that hurt?
No.
There's a reason behind this passion for life. Again, something you wouldn't necessarily expect.
I've been dead once and near dead twice. I've been struck by lightning once, and I've been in a bad motorcycle accident, and I fell in an alligator pond once. I've had some fairly harrowing experiences that have taught me to treasure every moment and to live it. I'm not going to sit back and watch it go by.
The lightning strike has had the most profound effect.
At that time, my wife's family always had a reunion. We were all at a place in Albany, just outside of Albany, at a pavilion. There's a small lake by it.
At the age of 42, Cicoria was doing something all good sons do, calling his mother, unaware that he was in danger.
I was just getting ready to hang up the phone, and all during this, I was oblivious to the fact that there was a storm coming. I had the phone right about here. All of a sudden, I heard a loud crack, and this huge flash of light came out of the phone and just hit me right in the face. I remember seeing it like it was in slow motion, and it blew me, just threw me back about 15 feet. And as I was going backwards, all of a sudden I wasn't going backwards anymore, I was going forwards, and I was very confused. And all of a sudden, I saw my mother-in-law at the time running down the stairs, screaming, and she ran right by me. And I thought, okay, where's everybody going? And I turned to look, and my body was over there on the ground. At that moment, I thought, oh, I'm dead. Those were my exact thoughts. But it was very dispassionate. There was no emotion involved with it. It was just very matter of fact, oh well, time to move on. And at that point, I turned and I floated up the stairs, and I went into the room where the kids were playing, and I saw my kids, and I knew that they would be okay. And then I floated diagonally out of the building, and when I got outside of it, I seemed to be surrounded by this bluish-white light. And as I was going, I was absolutely overcome by how the amazing peace and loving feeling that came out of this. And I thought, oh, you know, so this is what it's like to be on the other side, and I was jumping for joy in my mind. And right about the time that I realized that I really liked where I was and where I was going, suddenly I was back. It was just like, bam. And I felt the pain where the lightning went in and where it went out. But I must have still been unconscious, because there was a woman who was doing CPR, and I wanted to just tell her to stop. I remember just begging and pleading to God and to whoever was on the other side to please not make me come back, because this was really painful, and it was pretty nice on the other side. Unfortunately, when you're back, you're back. And they wanted me to go to the hospital, and I thought, why bother? If you get struck by lightning, you're either alive or dead. So I refused. And I said, no, I'll be fine. I'll just go home and see my doctor when I get there. He ran a cardiogram and some tests, and he said, well, you know, everything looks like it's okay. And I saw my neurologist because I was having trouble thinking. I really felt like, I don't know if you've ever seen an old style television, but the old TVs where the tuners were always bad, and you always had to walk up and whack it on the side of the television to make it work a little better. And I wish that somebody would do that to my head, because it really felt like that's what I needed. There was just, the circuits weren't quite working right. And that lasted for the better part of a week. And then the only thing left I had after that was just, I had trouble remembering people's names. Like if I knew you and I knew who you were, you would walk up and just start talking to me, and I would know that I knew you, but there's no way in the world I could find your name. And it was like, okay, I know this, I know who you are, I know I see you all the time, but it just wasn't there. And there were some names of diseases that were like that too, but it didn't have any effect on my ability to function normally. So that was the only residual, and that was gone in 10 days, 2 weeks afterwards.
Such symptoms are relatively normal for victims of lightning strikes.
Kelly, I want to set up Melissa to have some physical therapy, and we'll see her back in 6 weeks.
Okay.
But then something very out of the ordinary started to happen.
It wasn't until several weeks later that I started to have this incredible desire to hear piano music. And I thought, oh, this is kind of weird, because I really wasn't a piano kind of a guy. I was a rocker for, you know, that's what I like to hear. And I had taken some piano lessons when I was 7 for about a year, and I really wasn't interested. I went to the music store and I bought some CDs. One of the first ones I bought was Vladimir Ashkenazy playing favorite Chopin. I was so taken with the CD, I played it back and forth. On the way to work, on the way home, I played it all the time. And I really became somewhat consumed with it. And then I said, okay, it's not enough to listen to it, I want to be able to play it. I ordered the sheet music for all of the pieces on the CD. I didn't have the faintest idea how to play them. I didn't even have a piano.
But then a serendipitous situation presented itself.
One of my babysitters needed a place to store one, so the piano got here about the same time that I wanted to start playing. So I bought some books on how to play, try to teach myself.
Being disciplined took on new meaning. It became obsession.
I got up at 4 and played till 6:30, and then I would come home, and when the kids went to bed, I would play again till usually midnight. So I was playing anywhere from 4 to 5, 6 hours a day, trying to learn.
Another jolt further fueled his appetite to play, this one in the middle of the night.
One night, I woke up out of a dead sleep at 3 in the morning with this dream. And in the dream, I was in a tuxedo at a concert hall, and I was playing a piece of music that was my own. And I'm in front of all these people, and I could draw a picture of the concert hall. If I ever see it, I'll really be freaked out. But I remembered the music. And the memory of it was very clear. And what was more interesting about it was that every time I sat down to play, the music would start coming. So I would be trying to learn a piece of music, and this other music would just kind of muscle in and say, hey, I'm taking over. And I would sit there and I would try to write some more of it. And this went on for months. And eventually I was able to write down, at least in a cursory way, what the music was.
Cicoria eventually sought lessons.
Sandy trained at Juilliard. She's an exceptional pianist.
If you lose stability in it, take it apart like that, and you've got to take it from both. Yes. Right. And don't go too fast too soon, because you want to get one pattern in your nervous system. Yep. A little bit stronger. I'm impressed with what he has done, what he's accomplished, with the level of the writing that he does, the level of the playing that he does. Let's go to the end.
I actually have a book of probably 10 things that are in various stages of completion.
Good, and it's good to dovetail into it. Let's do that one more time, and then we can put the little 16ths in. And one, start softer maybe because you had the piano, and one, and two, and one. He's got a lot of heart that he brings to the art form.
Heart, drive, and dedication.
The only time we could find in common to meet was at 5 in the morning and Fridays and Saturdays. So that's what we've been doing since 1998.
So that's coming in early at the moment. This was coming back in early. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's something that awakened in him, something that changed. And maybe the most interesting thing about it is that he followed it, that he listened to it, and he did something about it. You know, he's engaged. He didn't walk away from it, and he wasn't afraid of it.
The music that awoke him one night took years to see the light of day.
It's 3 movements long and is about 26 pages. It's a fairly lengthy piece of music for a first composition.
He's spent years refining it.
I've tried to be very true to the dream.
And has performed it publicly.
It's been well received. So I'm continuing to work on it and hopefully record it in the near future.
The piece lasts about 25 minutes and is called Fantasia, the Lightning Sonata.
The music actually takes you through just about every emotion that you can have.
Call it a labor of love that continues to blossom into new goals and dreams for a busy man of 55. But that would be understating it.
The best description of it I've heard has been from my daughter Jordan. She said, that's your soul speaking. And she said, all of the conflict that you have within yourself is coming out in the music. There are parts of it that are absolutely breathtaking. There are parts of it that are almost demonic and angry, and then suddenly transcend into something angelic. After the lightning, I really questioned why I was here. I struggled for the longest time with, okay, I've been spared. Obviously there's something important that I was supposed to do, what is it? And unfortunately, there's not much coming back from the other side that gives you any direction. And I had thought to myself, the music is the thing that seemed to come back with me. I really was convinced that that was the reason I was allowed to come back. Because the music was now my reason for being. So it had almost become a religion. And with consequences, I really became consumed by it. And that's what it was. I really thought that it was almost delusional.
Cicoria has searched long and hard, far and wide, for an explanation.
Anybody who had written a book about being struck by lightning, I got my hands on. And I read about near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences.
His journey led him to world-renowned neurologist Dr. Oliver Sacks, who's best known for his book Awakenings, that was made into a movie. His new book Musicophilia profiles people with unusual connections to music, including Cicoria.
One of the things that he's talked about doing is sending us up to Montreal to have some functional MRI imaging done when we're doing the task that we do, to see if one particular area of the brain is in common with all of us. I think that's, great science. From his standpoint, he wants to be able to explain what's happened on a neuroanatomical basis. And clearly there must be one. But at the same time, the thing that doesn't make sense to me in that regard is when the music comes to me, it comes in sections, almost like it's like a computer downloads a file. The quantum physicists are entertaining the thought that our brains are actually just receivers of information, that they're not capable of doing all of the things that we expect it to do with the size that it is, but that it can receive huge amounts of information from another source. Where's the other source? Who's driving the other source? Who the hell knows? But it's an interesting thought. I am sure that there's a purpose to it all. Unfortunately, I don't know what the purpose is. I do know that I'm feeling a lot of pressure from within to write the music, to get it published, to get it for other people to hear. So there's something important about other people hearing the music and experiencing the music. Exactly what it is, I don't know. Is it for their primal enjoyment? Is there something on an unconscious level that is communicated to other people? I can only hope that, and I can only hope that it brings somebody peace of mind, knowing that there's something beyond this life, that when you leave here, you're going to go to a better place that has so much more to offer than this has. And I've tried to communicate that to patients who are dying.
The experience has helped him touch the lives of others in new ways.
A prescription for you.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
And do it with a little bit of, I intend for you to go here. I feel grateful. I feel honored that he is a presence in my life. Because it's not just about what happens here, it's about talking about life as you're working with issues at the instrument, and it's a convergence.
Playing and composing music has added a new dimension to his own already full life.
To some extent, it's almost an addiction, because you start to play and it takes you to a place that is away from all of the other stuff that you have to deal with in the course of a day. So it's both enjoyable, addicting, and obsessive.
The doctor/composer is writing a book about his brush with death and what ensued, adding author to his list of accomplishments. In the meantime, music provides safe escape. It allows him to go back and at least momentarily feel a fraction of the euphoria he once felt the day he left the earthly plane.
It takes you to a place that is safe and wonderful, and it's a great feeling.
But gosh, he's glad to still be here, in this place where people and life in general aren't always what they seem on the surface.
I absolutely thank God I came back, because I would have missed my kids growing up. I would have missed so many things. And those are important. And, you know, we take them for granted. We take so much of life for granted. You know, and it's unfortunate that I had to get struck by a 2x4 to get the message that, okay, you know, smell the roses, buddy. There's more to this life than what you're taking from it. And so now I try to live that.
Since we last saw Tony Cicoria, his Lightning Sonata piece has been professionally recorded, and he continues to perform it publicly. Thanks for joining us on Expressions. Visit us online at WSKG.org.